co tam je? Tady taky, co tam je? Tak jo, dáme tady taky, co tam je? Fantazii. Tak jo, 14, dáme tady taky, Endwalker fantazii. Tak jo, 14, dáme tady taky, Endwalker fantazii. A vlastně, samozřejmě pořád to nebudu anglické přezdobě, ale jak můžete vidět, mám vlastně zbroj z Rattlese, jo, a vlastně hraju za Gunbreakera, což je tank, no a co ještě, jo, a tady tenhle quest je první quest z toho Endwalkeru, tady to ještě první quest a nevidím důvod, proč nezačít, takže jdeme dostaneš zbraň, jo. To je paráda, že je za začátek nová zbraň, i když tahle zbraň, jako, co mám, tak má maximum tenacity, jako byla, což je ještě názor. Tenacity, jako byla, což je názor. Můžeme někoho hledat, jen tam byl. Proszę popusty, że wyputty tak. Proszę popusty, że wyputty tak. Technická chybička. Už je to dobré. Tak, abych to zopakoval, protože vďaka ty technické chybičky, nevím, jestli to bylo slyšet dobře, je to hra Final Fantasy XIV, nové DLCčko Endwalker. Hraju za Gunbreakera, což je tank, a to je asi všechno na úvod. Prostě tohle je první quest úplně z toho Endwalkeru, takže můžeme začít. No. Teleporoj. Co to je to? Proč to kurva není natabované? Jo, to Primal Summoning, vlastně vyvolání Primala, to bylo na konci vlastně toho posledného. Zase ta Fordola, jo, co směl zase. Co se týká můj postav jako faceu, jako to si nevšímejte, to se úplně nepovedlo, ale zase mám na ty postavy, se mi dobře hraje, mám tam dobré profese, jako, takže jako ano, joby. To Teleporoj si myslím, že je město. Podle všeho. Šaraldian. Toho bolo miesto? Alebo možno ďalšie miesto? Final days, čo je final days? Posledné dni čeho? Hej, kto došel? Tataru! Myslím, že vyrušuje. Dneska Ryle něco udělal, že jo? Jo, takže do Limsa Lominca nalodiť se na další loď, která pojede do Šarlajan, což je město nejspíš, keďže tam pluje loď. Students of Beldezion. Jeho zajímavé študování, nějaké studium ho zajímalo. Takže to nás chce chránit, my se vrátíme domů, když dobře chápu. Bezpečnou cestu. A nic, vole, ani zvuk, normálně tam ty 20 byl aspoň zvuk, že jsem akceptoval quest, vole. Tedy nic, vole. Na co? Netreba. Ale těšil jsem se na to, akorát, že jsem byl celý víkend v práci a nemohl jsem vlastně tím pádem hrát ten Endwalker, ale strašně jsem se těšil na něj, protože jako ta hra mě dostala tak, že prostě mě to baví každé jedno DLCčko. Nejvíc, když bych si mohl troufnout říct, nejvíc mě bavil, myslím, že Heavensward se to jmenovalo, to bylo s těma drakama. Ten mě bavil nejvíc. Ale ani ostatně nebyl špatný, ale tenhle mě bavil nejvíc. Tak, já potřebuju mapu a potřebuju ten quest, tohle, Limsa Lominca. Já jsem si to nějak blbě nastavil a nevidím tady města, názvy měst, jako. Počkej, to je charakter, target, svědí. Ne. Limit, range, Furt to tam nemám, vole. Ty vole. Je tady nastavení, počkejte, loot, party. Já bych třeba nastavení mapy, vole. Generál. Always. Standard type kamera auto adjustment asi. To bude ta kamera na tom asi, že jo. Jako To je inventory, to nepotřebuju. To asi nebude. To není dobrý, ale vůbec nevím, že by se to hledal. Mám default. Neprý. Proto nemám, no seru na to. Tady má být prostě napsáno město Limsa Lominca prostě a není. No, bohužel. Nezrobím nic. Nevadí. Zkusíme si tam. Nebo to asi udělám off-stream, protože jako asi to zkusím někde najít, nebo někoho se zeptat, jak to nastavit. Že mě jako zajímá vůbec názvy měst. Ale prostě někdy jsem se praktikal nastavení, ale to je prostě celé. Tak, lodě si, když se to pamatuju, tak jsou u Fisherman's Guild. No. Jinak, co jsem čet, tak ten summoner je tady komplet předělaný. Takže jako je možné, že jako summonera mám na jedné postavě, tak je možné, že si dám potom Endwalker ještě jedno ze summonerem. Ale pro kostele jsou místo, to nechci. Počkej, to je jiná loď, to je tady ta auto bude. Pam. To je ta loď? Myslím, že to je tahle stále to není. Kurva, tak je ta loď, to jo, já už vím kde. Tak jo. Ale já jsem si nevšiml, že by tam byl... Hej kurva, co to je? No jasně, já debil, vole, jsem si dal... Já jsem blbej, vole. Tak. Hotbar 3. Jo. 2, 4. Počkej, mě zmizí všechny hotbary, já mám rozladěné celé hud, to piči, ale... Basic. No. Waggle, jo. Tyhle, jako, co to má být do prdele? Si rozladil celý ten, vole. A já to dám uložené, vole. Já potřebuju si pak zase vytáhnout spely všechno venku. Jo, takhle. To zapínám takhle. Status, parametr empty, notice, ok. Pet to může být vypnuté, já tady pet tam nemám. Target info HP. To všechno ok. Dobrý, save. Jo, už mám ty spely. Co je tohle? Aether kompas. Piči, vole, to si neděláte prdel. Věřím tomu, že aethery budou i v tom, vole. Co to ty zase mám? Ne, neřeším, vole. Já v guildě jsem, vole, tak co mi tady otravuje nějaký... No to je jedno. Tak. To asi posunu. Okay, items. No tady to není, vole. Discard key items. Kde to je, vole? Collection. Ježiš, to je prostě, no a ten enter kompas chci sem. Tak. Dobře, tohle mám to uspořádané tak, jak jsem to měl. Jo, ale počkej, ještě jedna věc. Potřebuju zapnout tyhle bary, že jo? Co je? Tak, teď save. Není to tam, vole. Tak který bar to byl, vole? Je to byla ta 7 tam? Že vás vypnu. Třeba zapnu. Save. Jo, že já si to musím rozdělit na to. No. To už vím, co mám teda udělat, to už je posledná oprava. Tohle a potřebuju hotbar 7, jo. A počkej, tady nastavíme. Já jsem to takhle, 2x6. Prostě takhle, save. Tak, a mám to tak, jak jsem to měl, vole. Pouštěj hrozný. Já jsem tam dal default, vole, a on změnil se ještě bary, vole. Což je docela halus, jo, tak bary, ty vole, že ti to změní. A tady, hop, tohle jsem hledal, vole. Proto, tam na trojke, nemal jsem tam trojku, už jsem byl nahraný. No, já jsem si nevšiml, že by tady byl prostě, jakoby, že tady byly lodě, vole. A jako, no to tady bylo asi furt, vole, ale tady jsem nechodil. Vím, že, lebo tady, když si to vezmeš, tady je Arcanist Guilda, kde vlastně jsem chodil po questy s tou druhou postavou a vlastně tady si vycvičil vlastně toho summonera, jo, ale jako, takže jsem věděl, tady jsem chodil do té oblasti, ale jakože by tady byl přístav, další jako. A pojede Tataru. The ship of force prdele. Dlouho ustalo mince. Jdeme pryč. Vlastně. Jo, my čekáme na tu loď, jakože ona ještě nedorazila.
They've almost finished loading our
Sounds
cargo.
good.
We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
To je nadobované.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny.
Zabavné. Zabavné.
Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Já si už vzpomínám, kdo byl ten Master Louis, jako vím, že on hrál nějakou rolu v tom příběhu, ale teraz nezabavím vzpomenout, kdo to byl.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian?
Estinian.
Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
Little Lord Alphinote.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Co je Tatar, nějaký smutnej.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hell-bent on destroying the world. And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
Já jsem mohl použít ten elixir fantaziu a změnit si ten své jméno. Jo a v tom, tady ty náušnice, co mám, to je za to, že jsem si to předobjednal a dávají 30% XPček, jo, navíc, takže což samozřejmě půjdem rychlejší nahoru a ještě jsem dostal kompaniona, což úplně nestojí za řeč. Tak jo, co to? Jo, se budu, že budu bezpečí.
I'll hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We set the sail! All aboard for Sharlayan!
Jedem.
It's time.
Je čas.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, be careful.
Jo, budeme opatrný, neboj se. Párkrát chcípneme, ale to je v pohodě. Já jako zbrán dostanu, vole. Jak dopůjdu do toho města, tam bude asi rozhodit.
You venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
No, co nám to budou?
And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
A? Tam se nám to mapa rozšíří. Na ten ostrov tam, jo? Doufám, že to nebude všechno, ale jeden ostrov, ale. Víš o tom, že jsi jak pes? Aha, Heidelin zase, že jo? Slyšíš, cítíš? Myslíš?
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt.
Konečně fúzní reakce generovala více energie, než spotřebovala paliva.
Called out to you say? I've heard nothing myself.
Je teda důležitý tohle.
In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
Jak útočí. Jaká chyba textury, hej. V nose to měl, ty vole. Škraba se v nose svědělo, vole. Je to Heidelin, že jo? No, vidíme, jak si to... To byl otázníky, vole, to je jasný, že to je Heidelin, vole.
Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last, my warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
No, já jsem, že to je Heidelin. Hlavně on to je ta holčička, kterou jsem zachraňoval v tom posledním DLCčku. A to je už normálně svá žena, že jo? Pravděpodobně. Ale je to Heidelin prostě.
After your sojourn in the first, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Heidelin has always been, a primal.
No jo, když dobře chápu, Heidelin je taky primal, ale prostě ten dobrý, vole.
Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world. and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms, monumental, which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
Już drodzy.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
Aha.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
Ukażcie to, jak chcecie to město. Jo, to bylo i v videu, takže to je to, no to je Sharlayan, to bude to hlavní město asi, tak jak bylo v tom, předchozím tom.
Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed, 'tis as Sir Estinian saith. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Endwalker. To měsíc pozadí pecka. Zvedavě, jestli se tam dostanu na ten měsíc. Všude mají ten měsíc. Teoreticky se mal dostat na ten měsíc, bojovat na tom měsíci.
Sharlian, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
What shall we do?
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlian all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlian only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlian's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration. Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
Jako to je město chytrých, jo? Tady to říkali vlastně, že tam prostě znalosti a vědomosti jsou prostě pro nich všechno.
Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Grahat here of the students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola Rule.
Ishtola Rhu, ona se jmenuje Rhu. To vidím prvýkrát. Je příjmení.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with a citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alizé Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
And it is a title well earned, I can assure you.
An adventurer by trade is what your documentation indicates. No mention of this particular title. Self-appointed, I take it? Either way, your employer seems willing to vouch for your character, so I shall, albeit reluctantly, grant you entry. Champion. And you, sir?
Estinian Valeno, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
Який його професор, що є драгун, валечник, вона, з копієм. Який його професор, вона, ти вутаска. Це трайл. Це ясне було.
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldesia, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
No.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But
Jo, sam to. No, onda sam to čekao, ne vadi. Evo se ukecala, no. O. Evo čo.
Croyle! It is good to see you.
likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
Welcome, friends.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something. Sir Taciturn.
Tak. Super, super. Jo, ale já tady vidím. Co nevidím. Třeba atutnout, tam je ten velký krystal a tenhle ten musí taky je ten. Jo, super, ono to jde, i když se neudělal pro ten velký, takže to je paráda. Scholar a Harbor. Tak. Tady dostaneme zbraň. Ta by měla být lepší než ta, co máme, to teoreticky. Jo. Určitě se zvětšil inventár. Ale ne na to. Pásek zmizel. Dobré, no. Takže tady máme nějakou zbraň, takže já si ho hned takhle použiju. Ježišmária, no tak počkat. Vás to můžu dojebat, ale. Character configuration, bagel, žádný standard, ale určitě i tam kategorii to ne. Tady open all, myslím, že to je. Ještě to už, jo, tohle chci, takhle chci. Tak, a use. OK. Co dáme sem? Ale mám tady... Já tyhle náušnice nechci, na tu sérii. Ale hide Durium, jo, má to plus 3. Takže určitě si změníme zbraň. Na tohle, ok. Refreshnout. No to je level 1, no tam to náušnice jsou asi nějaké jiné, no. Podíváme se na tu zbraň zblízka. Jo, vypadá zajímavě. Ale... Vypadá zajímavě. A tak určitě zloženou je lepší. No. Ta černá byla hezká, to si můžu nechat na transmod. Ale nestavovat. To zase budem... Tohle z toho jako brnění asi zase pak vyhodím, že jo. Já to mám uložené na to, abych to mohl dát do glamouru pak. To jsem chtěl. Zase není jako dubbing, jo. Gubi Einstein, přiznám, že šel, aha. Charlie čeká, no. tu hudbu pri splnení questu a pri nabraní questu by mohli jako zapnout. To jsem ne. Tohle nepotřebuji, to jsou tady nějaký ty. What? Já, takže v tom kolečku můžu komunikovat s tou postavou. OK. Já bych se s dovolením podíval do tady. Tady bych měl mít, tady mám tam, tady je bordel, vole. Strašný bordel tady mám. A mě by zajímalo, kde mám tím pádem ten, tu zbroj, do které to můžu jakoby namurovat. To tady nemám nastavené, že jo? No, nevím, je to halus. OK, ještě kompaniona, když se spěla toho nového kompaniona, když tak. Nevím, jestli jo, tady bude ještě označené, tady je. Wheel of Palom. Co to dělá? Vypadá, že to chodí. Jo, to bude chodit. To nechcem. Jo, tady někde. Tady je tohle chci. Of Darkness. Tak, mapu. Jakou mám mít. Ale tohle tady je věci jako musím všechno oběhat, abych mohl cestovat pak. Jo, jdu se mnou, jako jo. No, tak chlapci, to se projdem. Já si to poběhat celé to město, abych měl body rychlého cestování. Skočím asi jenom sem a pak tu voda. Jo, to se musí nahoru. Musím to do kolečka. Takže do toho velkého baráku budu asi hodně skákat k tomu velkému baráku. Jo, vedu mi tu zbraní materie vůbec. Jo, tohle. Je tam level 515, no. A to ostatně mám kolik? 520, to je ty vole. Já, počkej, ale 510, jsme 500, 485 dokonce, jsou slabé to nevím, až na tu helmu, no. No, jako určitou dobu asi budu mít, no. Kam teď? tady. Ty vole. A posledné dva, no. Že sa to město pak neotevře víc, doufám. No všechno, že to je velké, no. A tady si vlastně nastavíme home jako distance, že destinance, protože tady se budu užívat, když náhodou chci někde. Set one point, yes. A teď, hop. Schladávou. Tak. Cože? Ne. Když jsou takový dementi. Že prostě skočím a ježíš. To musím splnit asi, že jo. Pane bože. By nemohli skočit za mnou, ne? Jak to mám chápat, kurva. Napíš, že jsem ztratil, vole. Jo, kde mám hledat ty, vole. A tady je ten Reaper, vole. Ne, nezdrhej. Jo, Reaper, 70. Jo, 70. Jo, vlastně začínáš na 70. Toho Reapera si začnu hrát. Jak si to experimentoval? Reaper, no. Nic, kámo, nic, no. Bohužel. Hej, a kde mám hledat teraz toho Kraila a toho Skywatcher, co to je? Jo, tak to nechceš. Ty vole, no ono vyjde nové DLCčko, vole, a ten bude dělat profesi, vole. To mě poser, vole. Nevystravil jsem se na to, vole. Laser Walker, vole. Level 89, tanka potřebuju. Já bych šel, ale nejsem 89, ale. Do piči, tak to není dobré, já jsem jich ztratil a jdem hledat. Doufám, že budu na té výchozí pozici, jak tam byli, ale. Jestli si nás zase promluvím a už zase půjde za mnou. Jo. A teraz mám poběhané ty, co potřebuji, vole. Takže tak by som to musel pobehať, takže to je úplne jedno. Som tomu dal teď 10 minút. Jo, doba. Kde to oba? Jo, kde to oba. A jdem dělat ten okolo vola. Jo, počkej, kde je ten okolo? Tady je. What the fuck? Tak. Jo, tak zkusíme sem. Ještě quest. Kurva. Neukazovala. Nechci ho vidět. Hit at the last stand as a commercial reply and then location. Yeah. Tady. A já jsem to zase potvrzoval, nic to, furt. No, já jsem debil, vole. A to teďka bude tahat po těch, že jo. Město. By ukazovali vlastně tam město, což jako to je jedno, tak se to projde zase. Když... Jo. Tady. Zase ještě někam. Vidíte, že to bude muset běhat, vole. Tak bych se to nevyužil, ty. Já to píchám už, protože je něco dabované, tak nebudu důležité podle mě. Ty sorry. To je. To fakt otravný quest, tohle. Tak. Mine hall.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Moriange. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, it simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nadana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. It is possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnarian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavner. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavner on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Jeszcze są 2 questy. Tak, koniecznie něco jiného. 2015, tak pojď. Nějaký černej. Som nejaký černej. Ale docela zelenej to. Docela hezký, no. Voda. Tak, za koho půjdem nejdřív? Udělám nejprv jeden quest, pak ten druhý, nebudu brát oba na jednu. Zajdem za trans. Co to mi dá? Amra, lasy, nevím co to je. Mil, to je maso. A tohle, ty dáš čo? No, ono mi dá bod. Hitting the books. Tak si vezmeme boty asi. Uděláme si ty boty, no. Co znamená dubbing, tak bylo prostě taková to, tím pádem nejsou důležité ty texty, jako budu to brát tak, že ty vojáři prostě nepovažovali ten text za důležitý. Hej, co je to? No, můžu si vzít ten. Ale oni jako mají tady docela hezké zbroje, ale kdyby udělali prostě fakt plecháče, vole. Co to je? The Hand of Spicemans, to nechci. Ale jako je to modrý quest, je to důležité asi. Ale to jsem už udělali pak. Je stadium. A já jsem kde, ale tady. Asi jde stadium. Tak. Kde stadium? A to je tady. To bylo hora. Ne, tady. Získám boty a pak půjdu ten další podívat, co to bude. To vypadalo podle toho obrázku, že se to bude dohromady v městě, tomhle tom, a ten druhý se bude dohromady někde jinde. To nemusím, protože to nedepuje. Read books, subjects, jo. To je knihovna, ty krása. Jaké příběhy byla. Nebylo čo? Tak to půjdu dookola. Z něho mi nezůstává. Dva ze 3.
Já jdu spát.
Jo. Tak ne. Taky ne. Taky ne, jo, mám to. Hide location. Že tam v DLCčku ještě jsem nebojoval. Vlastně není nabít. Takže... Tak.
Vozu před zlato.
Co?
Vozu před zlato.
Jo. To zase tyhle dva javale. Ne, to není dobré. Tak si tam je opáčko, že by. No ty vole. Já vůbec mám náladu tady zkoušet nějaké ty možnosti. Hej, Alfinout, vole. Co se ti nelíbí furt? Dávám sice typos, jo, jako, ale... Já jsem si mal čisté knížky a oni se mě teď na to ptají, že jo. Ale jako morda to bylo. Hej. Půjdu zase znovu, ne? Vím, že dvojka byla jednička. A na druhé otázce prvá odpověď. Ne, to je něco jiného, to už je tady tohle. Jištola, co zase ty chceš? Co to mám ty vole, to s nima za pohovory ty vole? Takže já jsem XIV výzkumný asistent Jarovice. Tak, speaker trial, tady seš. Co to ten má? Ten má tu kosu, že jo? To je ten Reaper. Tenhle, to vypadá, že... Hezky se tady kroutíš. Další Reaper. Potičky. Hotovo. To je všechno. Ale počkej, tady je tohle. Ale já tady mám ještě někde jeden hlavní quest, že jo? Sync of the End. Skočím do Harboru, ale tam byl úkol ještě, tam byl úkol ještě stránce dám, že jo? A ten asi tady ještě chudě, že jo? Já si ho asi vezmu, ale nebudu ho dělat. A to není tady. A tady je oprava. Opravdu. Mám 200 000 jenom volat a těch málo peněz. Jo, ale já se dostanu. A druhé je kde? Tu jo! No jaká díra, vole. Čertá díra, vole. Dikon. Pojďme z co říkají. Podle mě bylo důležité to, co je na dobu, ale... Jo, omeleta, čaj, nevím čaj, jo, lovely, takže jsem se trefil, další stůl je tady, tím dáme omeletu, zpívaj si, takže jsem se trefil. A ještě tady jim dáme humra. To je humor. Zákazníci spokojení, dělal jsem trošku číšníka, ale...
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismay. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been. How being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
Hezká voda.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Labyrinthos.
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples.
Dusty tomes.
Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Budú do Labyrinthose získať nejaké dôkazy. To sme tak hodne pomalu na to, že mám tie náušnice veľa. Tak, trochu zpátky. Tak. Uj. Tak. Tak jdem na to. Krajina to máme tady. Ne. Já chápu, že tady je hodně lidí, ale ty vole. Vydají DLCčko a je tady tolik lidí, jo. Protože tím DLCčkem to nikdo nehrál, nebo co, ty vole. Jako back guby, jo, jsem zpátky, vole. Jo, jeď si v kleci. Jdeme do Labyrintose. Labyrintos. To bude asi Dunk, že jo? Nebo něco. Co to tam je za díru, vole? No tohle no. Po schodech nahoru. Dokola bližej, vole.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge. A growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Ale co je Labyrintos? To je otázka.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma.
Magma?
It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Hele, tady je... Jo. Co děláš? No. Jo, tady to je, ty vole. XIV mouse. Počkej, to je, vole. Hunting Coyote. Pala tady je. Paladin. Já jsem folka, ten je hezký. Kdy tam nemůžu, vole? Počkej, ale já jsem už venku, takže tohle by mělo fungovat. Jo, 156. East. No, East jedu. Tady někde by mělo být éter. Jo, tady je. Jo, počkej, já jsem šel blbě, nebudu muset jít dolů. Tak jo, jak chceš, kámo. Trhej, vole. Počkej, proč co dvala, vole? Počkej, tohle. Aha. Labyrintos. Budu potřebovat dělat questy. 5 questů a to je asi 10 těch, to. Dobře, no. Tak, máme velká. Vidíme tohle. 525 jižně. Je to nesmírno 500. Takže to bude na deal. Troll mě nezajímá, to je troll, že jo, troll mě vůbec nezajímá. Tak čo... Hej, tady jsi. Ježiš, troll. To dostal. Nespěl jako blasting zóny, to je fakt bomba. Dala damage jak prase. Čau párky, ještě někdo ne. Tady zachránit nějaké veveričky nebo co to je, vole? Plus, co? Plus? Jo. Co mám dát, vole? Jo, takhle. recept. Ty vole, teda zase zpátky, jo. Boha. Říkáš, že zase je to... to je nahoře, vole, tam jsem byl už. Tam jsou dva ty demenči, vole. Říká, já si s dvoma poradím, jo, to zase. Ale... Tady je schované. Hop. To je super. Ježiš, zase chytajú halucinácie. Tak. Takže je, teď už k tomu krystalu, tak jo. Že to prostě běží pomalu, kurva. Ale co už. Fejty tady sú, jo. Fejty zachovali, jo. Som думал, že fejty moc ľudí nechodí, ale asi áno. Ešte zanechali. Se mi líbí, jak ten vlk zahučí, když ho přivoláš, když odletí. I hlava, ale já mám hlavu 520, když jdeš 515, tak mi to chovno, ale jako i tam hlava. Ale možno bude jakoby sedět do toho, tak možno si to vezmu. Jako do setu. Tak určitě si musím krystal chytnout, tady je krystal. Tam pak musím vlézt. Tady svině už lítá, vole. Pozbírané všechny ty asi, že jo. Jak jsou daleko? 200 jižně. Což je tamhle. Já si určitě pozbírám ty étery, to určitě budu sbírat, ale já tady nemám odkud tu celou oblast, tam je ještě jeden krystal. Jo, tady je ještě jeden krystal, takže když budu na tuhle oblast, když budu dělat ty krystály, tak asi začnu sbírat ty étery. Když jsou 2 krystály, tak to je asi docela velká oblast. Bez dubbingu, tak načteme. To je, myslím, knižnice, že jo? Už informace hledají, ale... Nepryč, neřek nám nic, vyhrál nás. No co jde hledat, vole. Pohovorit s lidma. Že jsou mimo ten Archerion. Tady je jeden. No, tak presne tohle som chcel, vole. Tady sú karty, vole, a ja karty hraju. Počkej, si dohřít karty, vole. Já tady docela hustý balíček, takže jak já bych mohl obohrat tady někoho. Je tady, ale. A máme, jak to je. Vednu kartu, no, tak pojď to dáme. Si nevšiml ty pravidla, vole. Order same 3 open, jo. Začínám. Tak to asi bude takhle. OK. No to takhle. Aj. Takže takhle. A takhle, hele. Yes, a hned tady mám, vole, troll card. Super, tak to bylo rychle. Teď se naučíme. Pohoda. Tak, mapu. Počkej, jo, ještě jedním člověkem musím, jo, tady je debil. A já jsem si všiml, že tady se tady hledat karta, něco za tím utěkám, ale. Co to tam mají, vole? Někoho unesli normálně. Šabák. Já jsem se nevím, jak se tam dostanu, jo to. Ne, daj mi pokoj. Tak pojď, vole. Zkusme otrávit, vole, nebo něco. No tak čo? Tak jo. Jdem na to. Tak. Destination. Ježíš, to zase bude, no jasně, vole. Já mám chytat ty ptáky, nebo co? Wrong bird. Pilot. Super, takže jsem trafil špatného ptáka. Ještě raz, no. Musím trafit nějakého konkrétného ptáka, jo. Kterého, vole? Hit the right bird in the dart. Right, takže to by mělo být tohle, to padá. Je to on? To nej. Je. Ten samý, akorát je zelený. Kdyby to nebylo jedno zelené nebo červené, vole. Jo, to je náhoda, to je už jak zaklinač, vole. Když bude jaká větší průštěra, kterou přijde žrat, ne? No.
Fair shot.
Clean shot.
Nicely done. Let me truss this one up and I'll make my way over to you.
There you are. Any new revelations?
New revelations, yeah, new revelation.
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, But what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose.
Jak tworzycie żeńska, że teraz może być jedną żeńska.
Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a cleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
Wypada tak żeńska, miałaby to męskie hasło.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers hand-picked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will of course follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome. But consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you'd do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
Tak jo. Tak. Tak, speak afternoon. Tady pro tu jaskyňu. A doufám, že se prostě jaskyňu dostaneme k tomu dalšímu krystalu. A jedu jižně, že jo, což je super. 127 west. To bude tady, vole. Tady nevejdu. Nedáte srandu? Dolů nechci. Ano, to bude dolů. 105 northwest. Jo. Tam nechci, protože nevím, jak se pak dostaneme zpátky, ale... Tam je krystal, teď by asi bych se dostal si zpátky. Že, ale... Když skočím, tak se zabiju, že jo. Jak to udělat? A já to nepustí dolů. No nic, no tak nemůžu tam jít. Vezmu to pozdějc. Ježmária. Já to těluju fakt všechno, vole. Hlava, ok. Yes. Hlavička. 515. Je to horší než tohle. What the fuck? Ty vole. To tam radši nechám tohle. Takhle. 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 Já jsem chtěl tohle. Od jinak chci. Jak já mám tu kundu na ramenu, vole, tak klikám na něj a ne na NPCčka. Hop. Mitral cap. Mitral cap. Co je tady? Nic? Docela. Počkej, to je takhle. Trošku zvyknout zase na tu rotaci. Ale my to dokud nechci, ale že dát mě pryč. No to půjde po mně, že jo. A vlastně já jsem tank, ty vole. A tank ten zase nechci upínat. No to nejde už, ok. Trio. Proč to jako... To je zase nějaký výjev, ale mě to malo udělat to, že naplňovat ty tečky, ale nenaplňuje to vůbec. Ale ženská, ale zapomněl, jak bych ti pomáhal, no, z toho, to si to budeš zabíjat, jako. Ale, to je pomůžu, vole. Teď... to zapomněl, ne, nepotřebuji. Ne, ty... Viděl jsem tady dolů, no jasný. Aby mohl vzít ten blbec, vole. No, takže asi někde jsem, ale jdu si najdržu hore vzít ten éter, vím, že tam je, no. 240 severně, no, jasně, hej. Hej, ono to je dolů. A já tam nechci, vole, tam jsou ty animácie, vole. Čekaj, to chceš, vole. Tomu se říká nezbudit pozornost, vole. Ale je prostě cesnak, jo. Cibule, ty vole, mandragora. Zelenina, vole. Co to je? Co to je? Co to je? To je víno, ne? To je víno. Tak to bychom měli. Jebke. Ty vole, to mám jméno. Jebke. Ty vole, si luxusně jmenuješ, kámo. Luxusně jmenuješ. Jebke. Jebke. Okay. Jo, tam. Co to on má za mauta? To je jaký kůň, vole. To je ten paladin, no, co tam byl. Já si vezmu kavalerii Drake, vole, to nevím. West. Kytky nějaký. Svítící kytky.
Hard to look away, isn't it?
Vypestovali let kytky, vole. Doseš. Co chceš?
But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion.
Heart blooms se jmenuje, jo.
You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. with too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Have you learned aught of interest? A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we fail to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the arcade? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions, and no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryo?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
I can almost reach you.
저기요. Так. Симуляж. Okay. Otrhátor taky má, jo, titul. Takže taky má Ratalos asi. Ratalos je bůh. Se strašně líbí tenhle mount. Strašně. A jestli jsem velká. Tak, kam teď? Dolů. Pep Hredo. Ty vosy tady nějak moc. Počkej, tady by mělo být někde ten, že jo. West, jedu West, 22 West, to bude tady kolem toho, že jo. Mám začaž, ne ty mám 2, tady bude třetí, a ono to skače nějak různě, vole. Ježišmarja, to budu ještě dohledávat, už to vidím, vole. Divotvorné. To je fakt divná barva žáby, vole. Fakt. No tam jsou a já se tam musím dostat, takže to děláme takhle. Kde je další? West a dál West, takže to uvidíme, no. Cože? U nás zase udělala žáby. Proč? Hej, když to. Já vím, že to je nějaký plán, jak se dostat tam, ale ty vole. Zase nějaké policie, jsem se tras. Co se udělal, já jsem 81, vole. Si to myslel. Vůbec nevím, vole.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
Tak. Ještě pár questů a dělám prostě 801 a vypnu to. Som unavený, som po 3 nočných, fakt unavený, ale musel som to zapnúť, pretože po obede budú čakať tak 2-3 hodiny, kým sa dostanú do hry. Takhle. Southwest, takže tady někde. A 130, ne. 80 Southwest. Tam hore to je. Už abych mohl tady lítat, vole, protože to je celé přes toto. Jak vstanu, jak to zapnu, určitě je zase jako stream a tuhle hru, ale s tím, že vlastně udělám si ty, co se to dává, ty aetery, abych mohl lítat a budu se pokračovat v průběhu. Tak si to jednoduše řeší, ale zlítneš, přistaneš, vybereš quest, neřešíš, vole, žádné povědění. Tak, já jsem se chtěl podívat sem, co jsem měl otevře. Já mám všechno, když otvoří jeden spell, co si se mě děláš prdel. Hyper Velocity. Do piči. Utíkej. Utíkej, Forester. Mně se otvorí jeden spell. Roll. Nič trades. Jo, tady se mi potvořil Melee Mastery. Jo, Enhanced Aurora. Jo. A mně se otvorí jeden spell. Jeden spell. A tak to je dobře, protože já už vím tady rotaci. Jeden spell do toho jako nějak zakomponuju a nepotřebuji prostě tady hrotit vole věci, že jo, tohle to bude asi quest na ten. OK. Co je za stady, vole? Jsi král, no, na to seru teď. Tu si potehle ten quest, Lost Little Troll. S tím, že vlastně to je na Aether vlastně. Že jo. Když za to nedá Aether, tak to dělat nebudu. A no super. Či skoro tady, jak to začat lítat, lebo to je na každém kroku něco. Hej. Kira MG, vole. Co to je Kira MG, vole? Kde je ten tady seš. Jo, mám i ten Aether. Tak, vezmu to. Udělám to, to jsou většinou jednoduché úkoly. Kdyby mohlo být složitýho. Můžu zvolit ty tvoje keci, vole. Je to tady v té jaskyni, vole, z které jsem přišel, vole, to je fakt potěší, vole. Já mám 4 dokonce. Quest budu mít jeden, no. A quest potřebujeme 5 udělat na to. No. Co jste mohla pomoct furt svítě nějak? Asi můžu něco dělat? Asi ne, že jo. Počkej, ale když zasednu... Já můžu napadnout. Jo, to je tenhle. Ne. To bohužel. Tam neudělám nic, no. Tady bude někde zatulavej troll. Pravděpodobně. Jde do mě, no. Ježiš, tak zastopil to jaskyňu na zpátek, ale proč? Hajeter, hele, tu hned rovno po něj, vole. Dobře, no 10 jsou v osvětě a 5 questů na tu oblast. Kurva. Kam dál? Ty vole, co se děláš prdel, ne? Ty vole. No tak si to, skočím si tam. A to má být jednoduchý quest, jako jo. To je paráda. Pak pěšky zase zpátky, prostě jaskyně, vole. Žádný jsem žádný, ten nemám krystal, vole. Ty vole, oni to tak, tohle co dojebali, že prostě dělali ty questy takhle. Protože vždycky to bylo quest, jdi zabij a dones, nebo něco prostě. Žádné prostě zdlhavé hovadiny. Nikoho to i tak nezajímá, ten quest ohledně toho a tu. Jo, počkej. Kde to je zas? Těšíš mě z toho jebně jako fakt. Nebudu posílat napříč celou mapu zpátky, vole, nebo já nevím. Jako tohle to jako fakt, jako já... A zase, no nejsou jich cány, lebo jinak nebudeš mohl lítat, víš co, takže to nejsou jich cány, ale nebudeš muset dělat prostě, to je. To asi 5. část questu, vole. Do 6. vole. Zas jde do píče, vole. Takže potom řekni, že já budem toho trolla tahat až na tu druhou stranu, vole. Přes tu jaskyni. Snad ne, no. No to je daleko. Tak. Jo, takže jsou dva, jo, trollů. No, pojďte. Aby jsem ještě bral možnost, kdyby, že zabijem tohle, pokecám s tím a teleportujeme na to prostě tam, kde jsem chytil ten quest. No. Nezájem, vole. No. Ale takže tak já se tam budu muset vracet. OK. Super. Můžu se vrátit. Celá šlice, no. Celá šlice, jako píchám, ty si nechal, lebo ty mi dávají XPčka, jo. To si myslím. XP na 30% level 87 belov. Já jsem to neviděl ten retro, ale že jsem šel zpátky, to je divné. Se ani nevidím, ale... Doufám, že ne všechny tyhle questy budu na to... na stopování, jak jsem to teda stopoval, ale... Tak jdeme hledat Kraila. Jo, to je zašitý, že jo. Docela velká oblast. Na to, že mám tady hledat, vole. To má to. Radši mě nahání. Jako vůbec nevím, jo. Kde ten malý zmrt je, vole. Jde se zpátky, vole, a vylez nahoru na ten. Já jsem že by tady hore to bylo. Ty tak vole.
for you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
Was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Co chcou ty šmejdi tady?
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian, a group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals, dissatisfied with our decision, have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? Now, if we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlian. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences. Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Koniec zasadnutí. Tak, to by som dali. Odezzáme quest. Vezmem nové. Kdo to je? Kdo to kurva je? Mother, to je jejich matka? Hezky. Tato mají v té radě, vole, tohle je jejich matka. Amelience, ty vole. Nezajímavé. To bylo důležité, tak je to nadabované. Oni mě počuli v těchto krajích, no. Jsme moje legenda, ale. Co to? OK. Tak. Je. Stačí promluvit s tím. Ale asi ne. Tak. Dobře. Tady to vypnu. Jo, jako... Jdu spát. Jak vstanu, zase se do toho pustím. Akorát, že to budem čekat díl, než se do toho připojím, ale určitě se do toho pustím. Takže, díky, že jste se dívali. Jak se vyspím, tak jsem zase zpátky. No. Takže čau a ještě jednou díky, že jste se dívali.